Good morning, everyone. Now, today we are starting our virtual classes. Okay, I am Leena Agrawal, your physics teacher. I will be taking your physics portion from the science book. Okay, first chapter we have already started on WhatsApp. I have sent you videos, some audios, and some photographs or some YouTube videos also, by which you must have understood this motion chapter. But I am revising it again, so that you can go through it again and then you can understand it better. Okay, we'll start from the motion chapter, that is from page 98. On page 98 of your book you can start. You must have read this. Okay, on page 98 the motion it has. Now first of all we will start with the motion. What do we mean by the motion of an object? Okay, we say that object is moving when its position with time changes. Suppose this is a car, it is moving, it is stationary now. Okay, I push it and then it moves, so this time it is moving. In this case, when I am talking to you, my hands are moving, so these all motions you can see yourself. Okay, some motions are there which we can see, but some motions are there which we can infer only. Okay, like the fan is moving. You all know that when the fan moves or the air moves outside also, then we can feel it. But how can we see it? We cannot see it. Like suppose this paper is there, I am not moving it, but when I am holding it, then it is moving itself. Not itself, it is moving because the air is moving. Okay, now when the air is moving, because this which we cannot see, the same way earth is moving. We all know this is a fact which we all know, that earth is moving, it is revolving also, it is rotating also. How can we infer that? We can infer it by the day and night, also by the change of seasons. Okay, that it is rotating also and revolving also. Okay, so that is the case. Okay, one more thing is there in the motion, that motion is a relative term. Relative term means that in some cases we can say that it is moving, sometimes we say that it is stationary, but it is moving. Like I'll give you two examples. First example is like here, if you'll see this car, it is not moving. I am also not moving, it means from my place, but for me this car is not moving. But just now I gave you the example of earth. Earth is moving, earth is rotating, that means it is moving. When earth is moving, then in that case we all are moving. All the things on the earth, whether it is moving itself or whether not moving, these all things are moving with respect to the solar system. Solar system, we can say that in the solar system also the planets are moving. So with respect to the solar system, with respect to which thing we are saying, then we have to infer that whether it is moving or not. Like the second example I'll give you, on the earth only, when we are sitting on the bus, suppose you and your friend are sitting on the bus, any other person outside the bus, when the bus is moving, for that person, you both are moving. But with respect to each other, you are not moving, you are sitting on your place, he is sitting on his place, then both are not moving because you are in the same bus. So both are moving, but with respect to each other you are stationary. So that is why the motion is a relative term. Motion is of many types also. Like I have given you the example that it is moving straight, but it can move like this also. Okay, this is the zigzag motion, or it can move in this direction, then it can change the direction. Okay, or it can rotate also. I can rotate this also, rotate it also. So this is the different types of motions are there. Okay, but here in this chapter we'll do the straight line motion only. Before we start the straight line motion, we'll just go through one more factor or one more term, that is the reference point, which I have told you before. Reference point or origin, this term is necessary because suppose you have to explain the position of any object. Like on page 98 they have given the example of that post office, but you can take the example of your school also. In your school, if you have to explain the position of your school, then what happens? Then in that case you have to explain that it is near Calgary Hospital, or it is near the Peacock Garden. Peacock Garden, you all know that it is towards east, 1 kilometer away from Peacock Garden this is situated. Or you can take the Calgary Hospital. Calgary Hospital, it is towards north, from the Calgary hospital, it is on that same road. So reference point you have taken in both the cases, you have taken the reference point. Otherwise, if you will say that our school is in Malviya Nagar, nobody will, those who have not visited the school, they cannot reach it there easily. So to just describe the position of any object, we need the reference point, or which is also called the origin. Origin in motion also will take the origin, the point from where the motion has started, from where it has been described. Okay. On page 99, and remember that here we are taking the straight line motion. Straight line motion means that we will take that any object is moving in this direction or at the most in the opposite direction, means straight line motion. One will consider as positive direction. Suppose the initial motion, we say that this is moving like this, so this is the positive direction. When it starts moving in this direction, then we say that it is the negative direction. Okay, the positive and negative only that much, or at the most north south or east west. Not that it is going from north to east and then going from east to west like this. We are not taking the zigzag or any other type of motion. Okay, the straight line motion. Here they have given the example of motion on page 99, figure 8.1. If you have the book, then go through that book also and just open that page 99. In that figure 8.1, it is that suppose it has been said that suppose any object is starting from the starting point O. This is O. I am taking this point as O, that yellow one. Okay, this O, it goes from O to A. O to A. This point is A as the farthest point, which is 60 kilometer away. If you will see your book also, then it has gone to this 60 kilometers away. This is point A. Suppose this is point B and this is point C. Okay. Go through that book on page 99 also, you just see, then I am explaining it. So now it has gone there to point A. From here, from O, it has moved 60 kilometers and it has gone 60 kilometers in point A. Now it turns from here and go to point B, which is 35 kilometers away from O. This OB, this distance is 35 kilometers. Then it goes to C, which is 25 kilometers from O. This is O, this is A, this is B, and this is C. If you will see the figure 8.1 on page 99, you will understand it better. Okay. Now this car is here. It is here. What is the distance traveled by the car? From O to A, it has gone 60 kilometers. Then it has come back to C point. Okay. It has come back to C point, which is how many kilometers away from A? B is 35 kilometers away from O. They have given, if you will see the book, then this is 35 kilometers away, this is 25 kilometers away. So how much distance it has traveled? From O to A, it has traveled 60 kilometers, and then from A to C, it has traveled 60 minus 25, this distance 25, that is 35 kilometers. So 60 plus 35 kilometers, that is 95 kilometers it has traveled. The total distance traveled, here we are not considering the direction, total distance traveled will be 95. But if somebody asks that where is the object or where is the car just now, it has started from O, now where it is, so how much far it is, how much displaced it has been from its original position, that is 25 kilometers. So displacement, magnitude of the displacement will be 25 kilometers. Okay. So this is the case for the car or the object. So this is why there are two quantities now we'll consider. One is distance, which we have discussed before also, and another one is displacement. Again, the distance, we don't need the direction. Here the car has gone here and then it has gone in this direction, then it has turned and then gone in this direction. Here we are not considering, irrespective of the direction, we are taking the total distance, that is 60 plus 35, that is 95 kilometers. Okay, car has traveled 95 kilometers, but what is its position now? Initially it was here on point A, it was here only. Now its position is here, that is, which is 25 kilometers away from A. So the distance, what is the path or the distance between A, O and C? what is the distance? That is 25 kilometer. Okay, if you will see in your book figure 8.1, you will see that it is 25. So how much it has displaced? 25 kilometer. Okay, let's take this example again. I am just saying, suppose any person here asks that where is the car? So the another person will say that it is 25 kilometer away from that. But if a first person just search for that, then in which direction that person will go? 25 kilometer can be here also, it can be here also, it can be here also. 25 kilometer means in this whole periphery 25 kilometers away it can be. Okay, so to specify the position, again we have to explain or we have to introduce the direction. That is, it is, suppose this is north direction, so the person will say that it is 25 kilometer away but towards the north direction. So this is north direction, towards the north direction. Okay, now for the distance we have not considered the direction, but for the displacement we have considered the direction. So for these are the two different types of quantities. Distance does not need the direction, but the displacement need the direction. These quantities are called scalar and vector, which we have discussed before also. Scalar quantities do not need the direction to be specified. Irrespective of the direction, we can calculate the scalar quantities or we can mention that scalar quantities. But for the displacement or for the vector quantities, we need the direction. Okay, like here we have that person has to be told that it is 25 kilometers away, where it is 25 kilometers away towards north or towards A point. Okay, if he knows the A point, then we can say that towards A. Okay, so this is the case with the scalar and vector quantities. Different types of scalar and vector quantities. Now when we'll just do further chapter, further in the other quantities also I will tell you which one is the scalar and vector. So what is the distance? Distance is the length of the path covered by the moving object. Okay, total length of the path. And displacement is the displacement, that is the shortest path between these two. We are not considering that it is going here and coming here. We are considering what is the shortest path between this. Then that will be 25, that is the displacement. Okay, it's SI unit. What is the unit? You all know about the unit. I hope you must be knowing about that unit. What is the unit? How will we write the distance? It has covered 95 kilometers. 95 kilometers, which I am saying, that is its unit. But what is SI unit? SI unit means standard international unit. Standard international units of the distance is meter only. So we'll say that this much meter is its SI unit. Okay. Formula also we'll just see afterwards. I will tell you, I have given you the formula also in terms of speed and velocity, the terms which we will use afterwards. Okay. So the formula also you know, and the distance is a scalar quantity, displacement is the vector quantity. Okay, now come on page 99. On page 99, as I was telling you, the activity 8.3 and 8.4, I have explained this 8.3 and 8.4. So you go through that activities again and you can understand it better. Okay, next term on page 100, the questions on page 100 which we have discussed before. I hope there will be no problem. If you have any problem, then you can ask me at the end of this video. Okay, at the end of the session I will give you 10 minutes to ask your problems. Okay, uniform and non-uniform motion. On page 100 when you will come, there is another terms, that is uniform and non-uniform motion. Now for the uniform and non-uniform motion, suppose these are the points. These points are at equal distances. Okay, this point, it is, suppose it is 5 meters away from B point, and it is 5 meters away from B, is 5 meters away from C point, and D is 5 meters away from C point. Okay, now object is moving. Object moves from this point to this point. It moves and it goes here in 1 second. That object moves here to the third point and it goes there in 1 second. Then in the fourth point in 1 second. So it is covering equal distances in equal interval of time. That means the motion of that object, if it is moving like this, then we say that motion of this object is uniform. Okay, so this is called the uniform motion. Now suppose an object moves. Okay, it goes from one point A point to B point, then to C point, and then to D point. Okay, it goes there from A to B, which is 7 meters away, then B to C, which is 2 meters away, then C to D, which is 5 meters away. So in 1 second it is covering it in 1 second. 1 second it is going there, then it goes like this to 1 second, it is covering this much distance, then in 1 second it is covering. So you can say that it is the non-uniform motion, because it is moving non-uniformly. It is covering unequal distances in equal interval of time. We are taking the time same, that is in 1 second it is going from here to here, then in 1 second it is going from here to here, and then in another second it is going from here to here. That is different distances it is covering. So that is the non-uniform motion. Okay, and we all know about the speed. In uniform motion, the speed of the object remains same, but in non-uniform motion, the speed of the object remains, it is different, it varies. Okay. Next, on page 101, we have two topics, that is speed and velocity. Okay, we have discussed it before, so I'll just go through it quickly. Speed, as we all know, that is the total, that is the distance covered per unit time, that is called the speed. Okay, as I was telling you, the distance covered from here to here, how much distance it has covered? It has covered 7 meters. So its speed from A to B, it is 7 meter per second. Okay, so that speed will be 7 meter per second. But in the first case, when we have taken the equal distances, then in equal distances it is going 5 meter in 1 second, then 5 meter in 1 second. From A to B, its speed is 5 meter per second. From B to C, its speed is 5 meter per second. From C to D, its speed is 5 meter per second. So it is same. For the uniform motion, the speed remains the same. But for the non-uniform motion, if it is going like this, then in that case, it is covering 7 meters. So from A to B, its speed is 7 meter per second. From B to C, if it is going 2 meters, then it will be 2 meter per second. If from C to D it is moving 5 meter, then between C and D its speed is 5 meter per second. So like this, we can say that speed changes. For non-uniform motion, speed remains, if speed varies, it does not remain same. Okay. Now, what is the SI unit of speed? Like SI unit of distance, formula is speed is equals to distance upon time. What is SI unit of distance? SI unit of distance is meter and SI unit of time is second. So, SI unit of speed will be distance upon time, that is meter per second. Okay, so meter per second. And here we are taking the distance. So, that is why speed is a scalar quantity. Okay, now come to the non-uniform motion. I was telling you there is another term. If I am saying that it is moving non-uniformly, then in non-uniform motion, what will be the speed? Speed is changing from A to B. यहाँ तो है 7 meter per second. From B to C it is 2 meter. Then again it is 5 meter per second. So it is changing, varying. So what will be the distance from A to D? What will be its speed then? Then in that case, when it is doing non-uniform motion, then we take the speed as the average speed. Average speed will be the total distance upon total time. Okay. In this case, we have taken from A to B 7 meter, B to C 2 meters, and C to D 5 meters. Total of what is the distance? That is 14. 7 plus 2, 9 plus 5, 14 meter. And it is covering in 4 seconds. So 14 upon 4 meter per second, that will be its average speed. Okay. And remember that uniform speed or uniform motion, the speed remains same. In uniform motion, I was telling you from A to B the distance is 5, B to C distance is 5, C to D distance is 5. Then total distance is 20 meters and total time taken is 4 seconds. So 20 upon 4, what it will be? That is 5 meter per second. That was the same. For between all the intervals, it will be the same. So in uniform motion, the speed remains same. In non-uniform motion, speed changes. So for non-uniform motion, we had to take the average speed. Okay. Another quantity, the next one, which we come to that, velocity. Velocity is also a speed, but with the direction. It has been defined like this, but it is the displacement upon time. Whatever the difference between distance and displacement, the same differences are between speed and velocity. Velocity is related with the displacement. Like the distance is distance upon time, velocity is displacement upon time. Okay, and its unit, displacements unit, SI unit is also meter, so SI unit of velocity will also be meter per second like the speed. Okay, but only difference will be that it will be a vector quantity, will be needing the direction for it to be mentioned. Okay, average velocity, again the same thing, average velocity will take the total displacement upon total time. Okay, so this is the average velocity. Its SI unit is meter per second, formula will be displacement upon time. Is it clear? So speed and velocity, these two are clear. We have done that activity 8.6 also and 8.7 also. About that, in 8.6 and 8.7 it has been given just to make sure that you should understand that from the formula speed is equals to distance upon time. As I've explained it, you can go through the previous videos also. Okay, and then you can just see that the distance upon time, we can calculate that from this formula we can calculate the distance also if the time and velocity or speed is given to you, or we can calculate the time also if the speed and distance are given to you. Okay, we have gone through the questions on page 102 also, examples 8.2 and 8.3 on page 102. Now after that we'll do that acceleration, rate of change of velocity. Okay, after that we'll do that also. Okay, so that will be in the next chapter.